Alright, so this is a 2010 GM Hummer H3T, HT3, whichever. But I'm changing the condenser. And that's why. So what they did, in the process of putting that grill guard, that brush guard on there, they didn't put the bolts back in the top that hold this in there behind the radiator. Well, in front of the radiator, but in order to get to it, usually you could go in from the front, but on this, because of this aftermarket brush guard, I went in through here. You'll take off this mount, remove the radiator hose, drain a little bit of the coolant, remove the air cleaner assembly, take the bolt out of there, and then take the nut out of this side just so it gives you a little bit of give, and push that underneath, and you can reach right in there and grab it. Now the bolts that go in there, you can't really see, but there's a hole there and a hole on this side right there. So after you get it in there, you actually have to put the bolts in, more like screws, they're 10 millimeter. The top, so that you don't get a bunch of rattle, because down beneath, this little piece here can sit right on the frame. And I don't know if I can get you in there. You see the hose there? That's the connector for the AC line. And that piece that it's sitting on, it will actually, which is steel, if it's not held up in the right spot, will touch and rub right there. There's a slight crack in there that likes to, you know, obviously it's going to leak with a crack, but can that be repaired? Yes, it can. However, a new one isn't that expensive. So for this customer, I'm going to put this new one in. So I'm going to put this new one in, vacuum it down. I already put new seals in it because we thought it was a seal leak. And once I discovered that it was this thing leaking, I had her order this one and bring it back, but I did change the seals and shot it with nitrous and found there was still a leak. So do things right, guys. That's the whole purpose of this video. In order to get this thing back in, what I'm going to do is get back up here. I'm going to push this all the way forward. I'm going to slide the condenser down inside there. I'm going to put this all back in place so that it's the one bracket stiff. Everything's good and mounted. Then I'm going to go through the grill there and put the AC lines. You can kind of see it. You see here. There's one of them, and the other one's underneath like I showed you. I'm going to put those back on. Like I said, it has new seals on it already. And I'm going to vacuum it down, let it sit for a few hours. Put the air cleaner back on and make sure everything's good. So there it is. It now has the bolts going through both sides to hold that condenser to the radiator. Sorry about that, guys. So everything looks good. Now I'm going to put the hose back on, put the air cleaner assembly back in, put the mount on top, and put the bolt here, the nut here for this line. It's good to go. This thing has been sitting on vacuum since about 8 last night. And if you see there, it is right where it needs to be. Vacuum still. So I put it on the vacuum pump. I got this one instead of my electric one, just to give it another few seconds of vacuum about an hour ago, and put everything else back together, and now I'm getting ready to recharge it. For the 2010 Hummer H3T or HT3, it takes 20.84 ounces, which is 1.28 pounds, and since we're putting a new condenser in, it needs 1.5 ounces of oil. But this system hasn't run for a little while, so I already put a little bit of oil in where it needs to go, and this will be the rest of it that will end up collecting where it needs to collect. But in order to get that information on where it's at, it says it right there on the air cleaner assembly. 1.28 pounds for H3, L5, and V8. This is the L5, which is a 5-cylinder. So we're gonna go put this stuff in. I don't have my thermometer, man, I cannot find it. But it's all running good, levels are running good. Here's my gauges. And this thing is blowing ice cold. So that's it on this one. War Pony Auto signing out. Like, share, subscribe, guys. Talk to you later.